ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop, come on, baby, higher. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. We won't stop.
From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the closing bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the closing bell.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the co-host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for the closing bell, Friday, October 18th. You made it, guys. We're here. Last show of the week here for our studio and network. Couldn't have done it without any of you guys here. Special shout out to Noah Frank, to Elijah Cox, and Ryan Shanklin for all you do behind the glass here. Great day in the studio here. We start the day off with Matt Grissom and the NCAA Insiders, followed up by Adam Trigger. Wager Talk at Adam Trigger WT, talking college hoops. Less than 2 weeks, actually 2 weeks from today, we'll have opening day in college hoops. Can't wait for that. I did a nice little cut with Andrew McGinnis at Wager Talk at McGinnis Picks YouTube channel there about an hour ago, talking some hockey tonight and a little peek ahead to Saturday. And then we close it off, of course, with Riley Magnuson on Fade the Public Friday. We do the re-entry Monday and the Fade the Public Friday here. Shout out to WagerWire, proud sponsor and partnership. If you haven't downloaded the app, shame on you. Head on over to Google Play or wherever you download the app. It's free. Viva Tequila Seltzer, CT Bets, Team Family, second to none. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconut. Go try one. And of course, Terry Smith at Atlanta Steak and Seafood. Head on over to Facebook, follow him, introduce yourself, tell him JD from ECSI sent you. Then head on over to Atlanta Steak and Seafood website and start ordering, and it will be delivered to your home in 2 to 3 days. Terry, the best in the business when it comes to quality. I know you've heard of Omaha. There's a new sheriff in town. That's Atlanta Steak and Seafood. And if you purchase any box of seafood in your order, let's say lobster tails, sea bass, tuna, whatever he has, swordfish, use the promo code Seafood20. That's Seafood20, and take $20 off each box. So without further ado, the co-pilot, Mr. Riley Magnuson. What's up, champ?
What is up, my friend? Happy Friday. Yeah, you said it. Fade the Public Friday. We've got a handful of games to talk about tonight, my friend. We've got a couple of baseball games, obviously, is the headliner of the evening, but we got some halfway decent college football games tonight as well, and then obviously some NHL sprinkled in as well. So Ready to roll. We didn't talk yesterday, but obviously, hell of a baseball game. One of the two yesterday, obviously, that Cleveland Yankees game, as good as you're ever gonna see, honestly. And as someone who genuinely dislikes both of those teams, I was still enjoying it as much as I've enjoyed any baseball game in the last decade, honestly. So it was interesting. I don't know. Again, I'm rooting for a marquee matchup for the World Series, but you got to root for the underdog against the Yankees sometimes. But as a White Sox fan who hates Cleveland and just a non-Yankees fan who doesn't like the Yankees, I found myself happy whenever one team did good because the other team's doing poorly. So I don't know who I'm rooting for in that series, but give me as many awesome games like that in both these series and in the World Series as we can get before we close out baseball this year, my man.
Well, I'm going to bitch and moan for a second because I see people on social media poo-pooing the 5 o'clock start, and I just want to say enjoy the bleeping game because if they both started at 7:30, you would complain, why didn't you play one in the afternoon? So you can't win. That's number one.
Yep.
Number two, it was almost like Major League. Other than the fact that he didn't point to the left field pole and drag a bunt down the first baseline. I mean, Big Christmas. If you don't know him, now you know him. Big Christmas, 2 outs, ties the game. And David Fry, who hit that grand slam against Cy Skubal to, really propelled them to win that game and win the series, of course. Hollywood couldn't have scripted a better script than yesterday's game.
No, especially when you talk about one of Aaron Judge's biggest postseason moments of his career, either at least to that point. Even though they lose, it's still one of his biggest moments. And same thing with Giancarlo Stanton. So you get the two big boys for the Yankees showing up in the big spot, and then it still doesn't matter there. And now, instead of a 3-0, almost ready to wrap this thing up, we've got, the Yankees on the ropes today. If Cleveland can get this one, then we've got ourselves a series with 3 games left. So let's. We can jump right into this. We've got the Yankees the Dodgers and Mets here in about 10 minutes. So if you want to jump right into these games real quick and at least that one and get it out of the way, so we can get some thoughts in before that one, I'm good to go for it. Are you with Fade the Public Friday? This one, like you said, 5 o'clock your time, 4 o'clock my time, 2 o'clock West Coast time. Is this one kind of fall in that category, or is this, by the time people get off work ready to play some bets, maybe it's already too late, or are we going, Fade the Public Friday starts with this game here in a few minutes?
When you leave an opponent's stadium in a 2-3 series, 1-1, the goal very simply is we don't want to come back here. Yeah. We got the split. Now let's do everything in our power not to have to come back, meaning let's win the next 3 and we're on to the World Series. Now, this is the Miracle Mets. This is the Amazings. No one had bigger mojo coming in than this team. The Dodgers is just that team. I know about Ohtani. We know about Mookie Betts. Freeman banged up with the ankle. And then in comes Kike Hernandez. Here comes Max Muncy on base 12 straight times. It's just... We said they had no pitching. Well, they have pitching. In the playoffs, it's just moved the chains. It's next man. And if your starter can get you 5 or 6, God bless you. There was a 7 not too long ago. They got us through 7, which is unheard of nowadays. But the power arms and the lefty on lefties, and we've seen it with the Nationals. We saw it with the Rangers. We see it with the Phillies. That's what these teams do. So that thought process of just getting into the dance in baseball, anything can happen. We saw it last year with the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. When the Dodgers are getting pitching from Knack and Flaherty and Yamamoto, the list is endless. They're going to beat you. And so they come in, they take game 3. Obviously, a must-win last night, and they just come in and rip your hearts out with crooked numbers early. What Mets team is going to show up today? That's the million-dollar question. Is it the one that's going to put up this out-of-body experience to thank the home crowd for believing in us? Hey, we've taken this as far as we can. We're going to L.A. to still battle. Who knows what can happen in a Game 6? Because if you get to a 7 anything can happen. It's all hands on deck. So I approach this game. Overnight numbers. Flaherty opened at -140, now -123 at the Circa. Good afternoon to Benson, Mr. Benson, and Mr. Stevens. You can get the Amazings right now at +113, 7.5 juice under 120. Team totals: Dodgers 3.5 now juiced over -145, and the Mets 3.5 juice under -115. Three under 135. If you want to go over the 3.5, you get them at +115. How do I approach this? Well, it's simple. If I like the Mets, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split up the unit. I'm going to play the Mets first 5, and then I'll put the other half on them for the full game. And I will take their team total over the 3.5 plus the 115. Flaherty absolutely lights out his last performance against the Mets. I don't think you can see that performance to come back. I expect some regression. Gun to my head, Mets force a game 6, Riley.
I think we're on the same page with this one, and it was the last thing that you said. If you didn't, I was going to mention it again. He was absolutely nails in, I don't remember which game of the series it was, but 7 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks. Not really a guy, and again, could I be corrected, and now he's just, going to be scorching hot? Sure. But to your point, not really a guy that strings together those dominant performances, more than once in a row these last few months, at least that dominant. So I'm with you as far as Flaherty here not having, as good of a start as a goose egg there. So I think he gives up 2-3 runs at least himself there. So I'm with you. I think the Mets force the game 6 and take it back to L.A. here. And I think the interesting thing is what we see out of Peterson, though. He wasn't fantastic in game 1 there. They haven't really been letting him go too deep into these games here this postseason. I think actually the whole season, postseason, hasn't gone past 3 innings there. So I'm curious to see what we get out of him in this Mets pitching staff. So I'm with you. I think the Mets push it, but obviously their pitching's got to show up as well because there's been a couple rough games for this Mets pitching staff this series.
And I was talking to a good friend and colleague this morning, and he was talking about the Yankees and how good Rodon has rounded into form. And a big fan of him, obviously, as a Giant fan there. And he had blips in the radar, surgery, arm, blah, 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 blah. But in playoffs, he has looked great. I have to ask you this question because I said to this, can you imagine a weekend series in LA next year? And you're facing Ohtani, Yamamoto, and Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler is back. Man, did he look good.
Yeah, no, I've been a big Walker Buehler guy for a while. I've been waiting for him to come back, and I think I don't think he's one of those guys that's going to be inconsistent. I think, like you said, he's back, and I think you're going to see, because, a couple years ago, we were talking about him as, a bona fide all-star here in 2022 and before that. So if they can get 90% of that consistency, that level of what he used to be consistently, then that is scary, scary. The only thing that I think of when you say Carlos Rodon, there's been plenty of other pitchers at a point where, and I'm changing the subject essentially with baseball here, of all the different guys that we've seen this postseason for a White Sox team that was supposed to be, the next best thing in this decade, you got Carlos Rodon pitching fantastic. Dylan Cease not still in the postseason anymore, but he's obviously a fantastic pitcher for another team. You got Michael Kopech, which hasn't had as high leverage situation this series, but has been looking great for the Dodgers. The list goes on and on. Maybe not offensively so much. Some of the guys they got rid of in the postseason and looking as great, but that potential pitching staff of what was supposed to be, my friend, could have gotten. I'm sure they would have done a few different things with their offense up to this point. Obviously, we were talking about a 40-win team this year, but you know what I mean. The pitching staff that could have been for that White Sox team in 2024 is what's keeping me up at night, my friend.
Well, again, I said once he came over there, Kopech, you get a little of that hem juice, and they just turned into, he's throwing 99, 100, 101 like no tomorrow, sweating like him and a few other these athletes. Just drenching the shirt there for a half inning of work. But yeah, the Dodgers will be a tough out. It's not if, it's when. And listen, I'd love to see them. Hey, it gives us something to look forward to. Sunday night, I hopefully versus the Jets and Steelers game. So let's at least get us a one game on Sunday there. Um, the other game tonight, Yankees and Cleveland. Gavin Williams versus Heel. Overnight number Yankees minus 120. Now 115 at the Circa. You can get the Guardians plus 105. 7.5 juiced under minus 15 cents. Yankees team total over the 3.5 minus 135, and Cleveland 3.5 under minus 120. And I'd like to leave the emotions at the door. Okay.
Yeah.
But after last night's, if you're the Yankees, you hope Stanton, Soto, Judge, one of them quiets this crowd down in the top of the first, because that place is going to be jumping, Riley.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, quiet those emotions. And I know a lot of people here. You got the noise, and you got a lot of people that are expecting the Yankees to bounce back here. And I'm not going to stop here. Have you ever seen a situation where you've got two pitchers in Game 4 of a conference championship series that haven't set foot on the mound in the postseason yet? Have you ever seen anything situation like this?
No, starting pitching doesn't matter. They could hand you or I the ball and say, hey, you're going to face the leadoff guy, and we got the real starter warming up. It's just the mentality of today's playoff baseball is off the charts.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And, either of these guys are a little hit or miss in the regular season. But, pulling up the game, whatever, last night, today, when I'm seeing the starters, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, neither of these guys have touched the mound in this postseason. Yeah, that's kind of bizarre. But, you got the Yankees. I don't know if you've said it, minus 120 as it stands right now. Plus 100 for the Guardians, over under 7.5 on this one. You mentioned the team totals. This is a tough one to call because the pitching in this one is going to be an interesting factor here. At some point, I was I don't want to say I was calling the Cleveland win. I did just sitting in my living room, my fiance and I watching the game. She getting locked in for some big playoff baseball moments. And just for my experience of watching a lot of AL Central baseball over the last few years here, and just seeing that Cleveland team down 4-3, 5-3 late in this game, I was like, man, if they don't give up this big crooked number here in I think it was the top of the ninth, they're going to get some momentum and they're going to figure something out here. And again, it wasn't me predicting they were going to walk it off in the 10th or anything like that, but I was like, man, they're not dead yet. And I think that's the MO for these next two games here and tonight is, even if you got a late lead for this Yankees team, this Guardians team isn't going to go away. Jose Ramirez is probably going to have a big moment still left in these next couple of days here. So whether or not that's enough to go back to New York with a lead or 3-2, I don't know. But I'm not betting or I'm not counting out this Guardians team yet. As much as I think the Yankees are the better team, I'm not counting them out yet.
No, and for the prop market here for the Yankees, I'll go Soto. Soto's due home run prop and over 1.5 in the total bases there. And then I'm going to go on the what is Soto?
450 plus 450.
Okay, it's a nice price. And the initial thought is to go to J-Ram, like, hey, guys, thanks for picking up my slack. So I'm going to double dip here. I'm going to go with J-Ram, and I'm going to go back to Fry. He's been clutching the big moments. We're going to ride the Fry train as well.
Ramirez 550. Let's see. Fry. I don't see David Fry prop as an option here. He's not in the lineup. He's not in the lineup to start the day.
Well, pinch it off the bench.
And pinch it. I don't know. Maybe if we find a plus 2,000 if he's not in the lineup. I don't know.
And in the Dodger Mets, let me see here. Peterson.
That game
lefty.
started, so I don't know that I'll have a. We'll see if it'll give me live props or not. But that game just started, actually.
I'll stick with the righty here. I'm going to go Mookie, and on the Mets, could be his last game in Shea Stadium, I would go with Alonso.
Okay, I do have Mookie 6-1. May have already might be 6-1 because I think he already hit and didn't hit a home run. I assume. Yep, that's correct. They do have second and third, nobody out to start the game though. The Dodgers there, but Mookie 6-1 following not hitting the first. What was the other name you said? Sorry. Oh, Pete Alonso.
Yeah,
320 plus 320. Good number. Wow.
that's a good go number there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll go with you. The Pete Alonso one. Brandon Nimmo 475. Don't hate that. Mark Vientos 390. I'll go those routes there. Maybe Lindor. I scratch what I said. I'll go Lindor tonight. He's due to make a big mark and maybe be the reason the Mets extend this thing here.
Before we get into the college football games and see if there's anything that caught your eye in the UFC or Big Ten tonight. I'll give you the the NHL tonight, the one team total that I said to Andrew, this is a pizza and beer only. This is a big dog here. San Jose team total under. I said under 1.5. You can get that at plus 165 or 155. So if they get to 2 or more in Winnipeg, that will be a loss there. Keep an eye on the Hurricanes, 3.5 over at even money there. Couple football games we can go over in a minute. I have to say this, and we've talked at length about this, and the guy in baseball I despise the most is Anthony Rendon. He's a thief. He's just been stealing checks. He took the ring from the Nationals and got this stupid contract from the Angels and never plays. Whenever I saw the tweet yesterday on social media that says Kawhi's going to be missing time to start the year again, what is going there? Why isn't the owners stepping forth here and saying, unless they actually have insurance for these players and they're only paying a percentage and the insurance companies are paying the rest? I mean, this Kawhi Leonard, he's got to go and get his check every other week with a ski mask on.
Yeah, this one, again, it was already at this point before this, but, and I've been a fan of his up until, these last few, I'm not saying I'm not a fan, but up until these last few years, I'm with you. Because at this point, what's the point? There's no benefit to at a certain point, there's load management that we've seen work out to some degree, but when you're playing, 30, 40 games a season, and by the time you come back, now you got to get your sea legs under you and get yourself ready. They don't have Paul George anymore, who also is kind of obviously has had some bad actual injury history, but kind of a Robin to Kawhi's Batman as far as this conversation is concerned. I know they're not on the same team anymore, but this Clippers team is going to be trying to figure out. They still got some guys, obviously, but for a team that when they came together, you thought, man, that's a team that across 4 or 5 years should have a great shot to win a championship. Hasn't really come anywhere near it. It's a massive disappointment, and at this point, you should be asking for putting some claims in, for God's sakes. If you're Steve Ballmer here, you're going to a new stadium and you're trying to start this thing with the damn bang, and this guy can't, at least give it a go. I mean, again, you and I, there's guys that have actual injuries for sure, but at some point, you either need to go or you need to hang it the hell up, man, for God's sakes. So. I'm with you. I mean, James Harden himself is I'm curious to see what his situation looks like by himself. Maybe it's the Harden solo show here to start things off. But no, I'm with you. I think someone else in the media called him out pretty heavily either today or yesterday as well. So it's time something that has to change or I don't know if investigate is the right word to say, but this is getting ridiculous at this point.
And we could talk for hours. I think on Monday's re-entry, we'll have some basketball, or Tuesday. I think the season starts on Tuesday. 2 games. Celtics, I think, host the Knicks. And then, of course, the Lakers, the James and James story. They're somewhere as well. So we'll get to the NBA next week. UFC, anything catch your eye in the UFC?
Let me, I just had something pulled up that I was going to tell you, because I've got there's a handful again. It's a fight night, so there's some ugly, lopsided fights here. What was the one that Mateus Nikolai, a little bit of an underdog, plus 180, fighting a very good fighter in Alma Bayev. Again, always have to preface it by saying I am not good with these pronunciations, even when I hear it with some of these names. But let me find what the opening number on this one was before I talk out about what. That was an underdog that I was interested in. Opened up around plus 140 for Nicolau, up to plus 170. Respecting that kind of opening number as far as giving him a fighter's chance, no pun intended there. So that is one underdog that I was interested in, my friend. The other one, a ladies fight here, Jessica Penne. Let me pull that match up real quick. Fighting Elise Reed. That's another underdog that I think could have a nice shot of winning that fight. So a couple underdogs that I like in those two fights there, and both at plus money. So I kind of have some good success with finding a couple of underdogs like that and getting at least one of them to the window and getting a nice little profit there. The main event is an interesting one. Anthony Hernandez and Michael Pereira going over to this fight here, Anthony Hernandez, 8 submissions out of his 12 victories. So that's obviously something to watch for here. It's kind of if Hernandez is winning, it's probably submission. If Pereira is winning, it's probably knockout here. So interesting fight to there, kind of clashing styles there. So I'm very curious to see what we get out of that fight in that main card, my friend.
And next week, Abu Dhabi, UFC 308. There's some big headliners. Lou Finocchiaro will be back on Thursday, and he will 3 o'clock Eastern to get you caught up with that. Mets escape, second and third, no outs, line out, strike out, fly out, and they escape. So see if they can put up a crooked number and to slow down this Dodger train here. A couple games tonight, of course, the headliner, Oregon at Purdue. Oregon coming off the huge win against Ohio State, 27.5 opener, now up to 30, 58.5 for the 60.5. And this Purdue Riley team has actually looked a little better the last 2 weeks. And Vegas has said no letdown here. And the funny is, I was looking to try to sneak into this game and almost snuck in. Purdue team total 14.5, juiced under minus 120. Could have got it at 14.5 over at a plus 100. And I was getting intrigued there, but when the 57.5 goes to a 60, to me, that says to me it's probably going to be an under. So maybe they get stuck on stupid around 13 here, but I guess no letdown for Dylan Gabriel, ECSI VIPs, 15-1 we gave out on Saturday, Heisman Trophy winner. Second favorite at plus 350, Riley.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because you got, again, no upset special here by any means. Purdue's not going to be shocking the world like that. But they've got a little spunk to them. I respect this coaching staff. They kind of inherited a situation where the roster turned over and they weren't set up really well with a lot of talent. We saw them progress throughout the year last year and be a little tougher at the end of the year last year, despite being a bad team. Same thing's kind of happening now. Defensively, it's a bad defense. In Oregon might put up, 55, 60 points if they really wanted to here. But to your point, Purdue's offense has been they were very, very scrappy at Illinois last week and put up a lot of points. So wouldn't surprise me. And again, we've seen some of these, especially these Pac-12 teams that have to travel halfway or all the way across the country, struggle a little bit. So I'm not saying that Purdue is going to pull off any type of upset here, but could be a little, at least for a 30-point spread is concerned, could be a little interesting, and Purdue could put up, a little bit of a scrappy fight here. But, I guess if you're putting a gun to my head, sure, Purdue's going to cover 30 because, Oregon's maybe not going to be up for this game, and Purdue's going to give them maybe their best shot there. So, again, no upset special, but I'll give Purdue a good chance of covering this game. How about that?
Yeah, Oregon's team total 44 and a hook over 140. So they're saying 45 or better if you want to lay the 40 cents there. Again, I've seen some sleepers in Friday night games. This Purdue team couldn't get out of their shadow to start the year. Offensively have been playing better. So just kind of intrigued me there. Florida State and Duke. And now as we speak, DraftKings drops it from a 3 to a 2.5. Kind of funny when we had Adam Trigger on and he brought up the stat. I saw it on Twitter. Florida State has never lost to Duke. I think they've won. They're 21-0. A team that started horrendous this year. A Duke team that showed flashes. Now David meets Goliath, and Duke at home on Friday night, 2.5-point favorites across the boulevard now.
Yeah, this is one I don't want to be, I don't want to have to use your phrase, the banana in the tailpipe, and saying that this Florida State team could wake up and actually look pretty good here. But I mean, they're better than, as horrific as the start as it's been. They're still better than a 1-5 team, in my opinion. Their last time we saw them, their defense was at least a little better, I think, against Clemson. But now they've got the extra rest. And if they have any pride in them and any dog in them, they should show up to this game here tonight against Duke. And Duke's defense, we've seen some ugly showings from them at times here. So I like Florida State to have a puncher's chance here. I feel disgusting saying it because this team has been an absolute joke. But it wouldn't surprise me if Florida State shows up and tries to have some sense of pride in this game. The last two games they've had, two really tough opponents here. They've got Miami next week, and then they've still got some tough games on their schedule here. So I think they show up and win this game on the road here. But I will not be surprised if we see Duke win in 35-16 by the end of the night here either.
Team totals on that game: Florida State 20.5 juice under -120, and Duke 21.5 over -125. At another site, 22.5 juiced under -125. So for us here at ECSI, it's a stay away there. Here's my kryptonite. Now, like Virginia Tech had been my kryptonite, ECSI VIPs 3-1 in hockey totals last night. We're plus 2.85 units for the week. Our NHL hockey totals have been off the charts. 7-2 our last 9. So I'm going to get to a potential for some new ECSI VIPs in a minute here. But I talked about Virginia Tech in football. They were our kryptonite early. Put them on the DMP list. I did say in the show yesterday, I said it on the alert. Virginia Tech team total over 28.5. And this looks like a double-digit win. 28-0 at halftime. I switched the game. And all of a sudden, I see a flash after 3:28-21. I'm like, oh, Jesus, what did I miss? I go back to another BC turnover and 2 touchdowns by Virginia Tech, 42-21 there. But this Oklahoma State team, they have gotten me once. They got me twice. They took me to the shed for the third time. I've now put them off into the woodshed. Riley, in July and August, the look-ahead number was Oklahoma State -5.5. Now it's 9.5. It's a 14-point swing. This BYU team is not only 6-0, they're 6-0 against the spread. For Okie State coming off a bye week. Now, opening number 7.5 with a 55.5. The 55.5 is the key number here. Now 9.5 with a 52.5 or 53. They were pounding the under. They were pounding BYU. Oklahoma State team total 21.5 juiced under -130. BYU goes from 32.5 to a 30.5 minus the 130. So I'm going to announce this to the world here. This is, just take it with a grain of salt here. This is Okie State's Super Bowl here.
Yeah.
I like Okie State plus the 9.5. I like some pizza and beer money on the money line. And I like their team total over 21.5 plus 110. Now, listen, they could get blown out, and I told you that's why I got them at the woodshed. I can read the market better than most people. The whole world is on BYU today, the whole world. This is a pros versus Joes. This is an Oklahoma State Cowboys or go home number for me.
I cannot agree with you anymore. I mean, not only that, they're coming off the bye week, but they're coming off of three games where they get punched in the mouth by 3 tough teams in the Big 12 here. And again, this is not a bad team Is it the cream of the crop in the Big 12? No, but like you said, that I don't know the last time I've seen a swing that big from the look ahead number to the actual number here when you go past so many different key numbers here. I mean, that's absurd. So I'm with you. I think we're on the same page with for the most part of these college football games. Do have to give an update on we're making money as before the show even ends, my friend. Pete Alonso, 3-run homer in the bottom of the first inning, 3-0 New York Mets in this game here.
What was he plus? What'd you say? 340?
I believe so. 3 something, right?
Yeah, I think it was 320, 340. Again, a nice go number. Could be his last homer at Shea. Again, get out of the big jam. Second and third, no outs. Put up the crooked number. 1 run away from hitting their team total. Again, I said first 5 full game if you like the amazing. And again, I think it'd be a hell of a story. Hey, guys, tip your hats to the crowd. We hope to come back and play the World Series. If not, thank you. We had a hell of a second half. We got the Dodgers to at least 6. And like I says, I hope they don't put it on at 4:30 if they hold on and win versus the 49ers and the Chiefs, Super Bowl revenge matchup game. Let's put this on at 7:30 versus the Pittsburgh Jets game. Thank you.
Yeah, no, that'll work for me. 425 plus 425 for Pete to hit a second home run in this game, my friend. Mets minus 375, Dodgers plus 270 live odds on the money line there for this game here.
Last game, it's a good game. At 10:30 start, Fresno State, Nevada. Fresno State opened up at 3.5, now a flat 3, a 50 to a 49. I don't know what to expect from Fresno State. They've taken some road lumps. I remember not too long ago, them as a pick 'em at UNLV and lose like 51-0. I think it's a lot better matchup on the Fresno State side than the Nevada side. 26.5 juice under minus 120 for Fresno State team total. Nevada 23.5 juiced over minus 120. This has got the makings of that 27-23 Fresno State here. I like them in the first half. I like for them to set the tone. I do think they're going to win the game. The 3 scares me. So if you're a parlay guy and you're looking for another leg, I like them on the money line. I do like them to win. And if you're looking, again, over the 26.5 to get to 27, 28, 30, you can get that at even money, Riley.
Sounds good to me. I don't have as strong of thoughts on that one, but I will be enjoying that game as well tonight. So I don't have too much else, my friend. I think we covered the majority of the bases here. Did you see we haven't talked too much golf, and I don't have any thoughts necessarily, but I saw that I don't know if that was today or yesterday. They closed gates for spectators because the wind was so aggressive. I don't know if that was today or yesterday.
I thought I saw a 2-hour delay. Then they pushed it back to 4 hours. I do know that Pendrith had the first round lead, and it was shut down early because of darkness or whatever. A buddy of mine sent me his ticket. He actually had that, the little shit there. And there was a lot of people playing, what was it, early, late, or late, early because of the wind on the first 2 starts in your DraftKings and stuff like that. And then Joel Damon got a 4-shot penalty for having an extra club or 2 in the bag. He just missed it. And then he goes and withdraws this morning. So he said, thanks for nothing there. Exciting week, obviously, and weekend. UFC, playoff baseball, college this weekend. We got obviously Alabama at Tennessee, and of course the headliner of all headliners, Texas hosting Georgia, and don't forget Indiana hosting Nebraska there. And then Sunday, of course, the NFL. Closing thoughts, sir.
Closing thoughts. Yeah, you kind of wrapped it up there. Awesome weekend, and they laid out nicely for us. You get the afternoon of the Alabama and Tennessee game, and the evening at Texas Georgia. You got that Big Ten game, Illinois Michigan, also top 25 game. Don't forget that one for my neck of the woods here, my friend. That'll be in the Magnuson household front and center as well. And then, yeah, we've got big NFL games as well. Houston and my Packers. Very, very good measuring stick game, I think, for both of these teams here. I think it's going to be a really, really solid game there in Lambeau. So I'm excited to see what the defense has for that Houston offense, because I think the Packers offense will be all right there. And then curious to see what we get in week 2 of another week of Drake May, and now a team going to London, which is an interesting thing for a rookie making his second start. But as opposed to playing a really, really good team in Houston, now going overseas and playing a team that's kind of in disarray here. I'm curious to see what we get out of Drake May on Sunday.
Ramondre Stevens did take the flight. He was at practice. They say game time decision. He will play. I guess we'll know early. In other words, Jags have been over there for a week. They got embarrassed last week. If the Patriots, it's like a get well game for both teams. The Jags are like in the 30s on defense. The Patriots have no offensive line. What do I expect? I expect to see the Jags wake up. I actually think they'll play for Peterson. I think Goldilocks here, Trevor Lawrence will have a big game. I think Brian Thomas will score. I think Evan Engram will score. And Drake May will do what he's going to have to do and run for his life. He'll show flashes, but I think the Jags cover the 6 points there.
Yep. No, I don't have anything to add to that, but yeah, some really great games on Sunday. So definitely, don't cannonball into the deep end with 10 like parlay on Sunday, but you have some fun. We got another full day of football action on both these days, and then obviously some great baseball. So I will be watching, my friend, all weekend long.
So when I started to lead into what I did on Andrew's show, I'm going to do here. If you're not following me on Twitter, go to EastCoastSportsInvestors. If you don't have our email, it's EastCoastSportsInvestors@gmail.com. On our website, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com, top right corner is plans and pricing. You'll see $375 a month retail. It's been the same since January 1st, 2015. It doesn't change. But what we did add is an ECSI gym membership, $3 a day. All our plays, our props, our futures, all our breakdowns sent to your cell phone via text and email. No time stamp. It could be early in the morning. It could be late in the afternoon. It could be a half hour before kickoff. Whether you're at the gym, whether you're at work, or whether you're at a wedding or sitting on the couch, pops on your cell phone and boom, in your email. So what we've been doing is we're getting ready for our 10-year anniversary, which is January 1st, 2025. But what we're trying to do is to get you through the sports. With NCAA basketball tipping off on November 1st, what we've decided to do is this. Not the rest of 2024, not through the Super Bowl in 2025, but through March Madness, which is usually the first Monday or second Monday in April. We're going to take you all the way through there. For the gym membership price would be $5.99. We cut it in half for $2.99. You're basically getting 6 months, $50 a month. You got that cut in half. 6 months, all sports, whether it's the Breeders' Cup, whether it's the Kentucky Derby, whether it's conference championships, whatever it is, whatever hits our desk, hits your cell phone and email. And then what you need to do is just send me a DM at EC Sports Invest saying, hey, Jeff, I'm in. What do I need to do? Or send us a email at EastCoastSportsInvestors@gmail.com. 6 months, regularly $5.99, cut in half for $2.99. All the way through 2024, the Super Bowl, and whoever cuts the nets. Hopefully it's you on for the three-peat. So great week. Thank you all. We can't do it without you guys. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Investors, the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. Everyone, have a blessed afternoon and evening. Hopefully a couple of you got on the Alonzo prop and already hit for 4 and change there. God bless you guys. Enjoy yourself on the weekend. Don't be the pizza man, and we'll see you soon.